everyone, welcome to me, Anastasia Lazerbeam. I'm going to review, right here, this game, Majora's Mask 3DS.
Bright light, bright light. Tilt it back.
There we go. There we go.
There you go.
Woo. Alright, now you'll never see me again because I'm turning my camera off. Alright, so Majora's Mask on the 3DS. I bet everyone wants to know like how it compares to the original, all about it. We're just gonna straight through, first off, just talk about the 3DS, and then after that, then we're gonna compare it to the other ones.
Intros.
Alright, I believe...
With me, I have Chriz, aka the Mole.
And where is it? There we go. Happy Red Nose Day!
Yay!
It is officially Friday, technically, which is comic relief in the UK, so happy Red Nose Day. Woo! And that's my little red nose.
And I also have Marcus Shadow from the Shadow's Maw.
Yeah!
What the fuck was that?
The Link scream.
Oh, okay. I just thought you had like a seizure or something.
So, it sounds more like Link with 50 Shades of Green.
Alright, well, has anybody else played Majora's Mask 3DS, right? Oh, no, Jeff got it, right?
Nope, I do not have Majora's Mask 3D.
Okay.
I'll be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of Majora's Mask to begin with until I saw a Let's Play of it, because the way Nintendo described how Majora's Mask worked really turned me off, because I thought it was going to be, I knew it was going to have the 3-day thing where you have to, go through 3 days and then do it over again, Groundhog Day style. But I thought you were going to have to learn what you had to do during the 3 days and do everything friggin' perfect for those 3 days to get everything in the game, or at least get a halfway decent ending for the game. Until I saw a Let's Play of it 10 years later. And it's like, no, everything carries over. I'm like, well, gee, I wish Nintendo had actually said that. Then I would have actually played it.
Not everything carries over in the 3 days. Because there's certain things that do and certain things that don't.
But most of the big events carry over because you get the mask for it, which denotes that it's been done, so you don't have to do it again.
Yep, which... Like I was saying to P before this, I've only played the original one, but I think I played it on GameCube, not the N64 one, because I got confused with the N64 one.
Yep, I've only played it on the GameCube, which is basically the same thing. It's the exact same game, just slightly different controls because GameCube controller v N64 controller.
I have played it on N64, GameCube, Wii, and the PC, and now on the 3DS. So
that was an official PC version?
What? Yeah, there's one on the Retro console on the Wii.
No, I said there was an official PC version.
Oh no, that's just me downloading it to my computer.
But it wasn't totally stealing the game? Oh, okay.
Hey, I already bought it enough times, so you know what? I know that's not exactly how it works, but...
That's not how it works.
If it makes you feel better, I don't have that one. That was like 5 years ago. I give it back.
Which I did mention to Pew before this began, but the confusion for me was when they announced it in a magazine over here called Games Master and stuff, they were showing it off. It was originally announced for the N64 HDD, which is like a click-on... It's like a click-on console similar to like the Sega CD was for the Mega Drive and so forth. Yeah, it turns out it wasn't. It turns out it was an N64 game. They just planned to do that at one point, and apparently some of the levels they showed off for that back when it was on beta eventually got put into the Ocarina of Time Master Sword collection or something. And I was like, okay, that's a cool little tidbit.
Yeah. Well, the 3DS one, I have to say, like any other game, the 3D is great for like 15 minutes, and then your eyes hurt, and you turn it off. So, yeah. 3D isn't any, like, it's fine, like, in 15-minute intervals, like every 3 hours, you might want to turn it on for 15 minutes, and then not again for another 3 hours. So, yeah, there's that.
Yeah. The 3D is down to a per-person thing, because some people, can't their eyes can't adjust
Yeah,
enough to
I
be able
don't
to
like
handle
it.
3D for a long period of time, and some can. Like with my 3DS, I'll sit there and I basically when I got Link Between Worlds, I effectively played through like a quarter to a third of the game just nonstop on 3D, like because my eyes can handle it for some reason.
Yeah,
So yeah, my eyes have no problem with it. So
my eyes can handle the 3D. The problem for me is you have to hold it in the sweet
yeah,
spot, which Nintendo have said. I don't like just holding a games console. I like it up close, or pulling it down, and doing other stuff, or just being able to
yeah.
have freedom if I'm using a handheld. As a result, I didn't use 3D. That's why I say the PS3 is the greatest 3D console of all time.
Yeah, supposedly the new 3DS does a better job of that because it's got eye tracking technology, but it's still, you have to allow it to track your eyes before it'll
I don't
shift it
think
for you.
that
So
would
it's not
still work
instantaneous.
because even with eye tracking, like my favorite type of like she was shooting arrows and stuff. My favorite type of moving it around. That's how I like to do it. I like to move use the gyroscope or whatever, and shoot arrows like that. So it would not be able to keep up with me because I'd be constantly moving. And if it doesn't like move with me as I'm moving, then it would always be behind me.
Yeah, the 3D with gyroscopic movement, not a good thing. So, yeah, you don't want to be using the gyroscope with the 3D because it's not going to work very well.
Yeah. So first, graphically, and since we're just gonna break this down, it looks pretty much the same. It looks the same as it did before. I would argue that this one looks slightly worse than the Ocarina of Time did on the 3DS.
Mm.
Because the only reason I say that is because you know those like bushes you go through where they're just
Mm-hmm.
like on the 64 and they're kind of green blobs, and in the
Mm-hmm.
Ocarina of Time one they were actually shamrocks.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have that in this one. They're going back to fuzzy shamrocks, which is weird. I mean, I wasn't bothered by it because I'm not one who like gives a real shit about graphics or frames per second or any
Mm-hmm.
of that shit. I mean, if you do, that's like totally fine or whatever, but I don't care. But like, I just thought that was weird that one of them had that and this one it didn't do that. So like, I don't even gotta say it's a step.
It's probably because Ocarina of Time is largely more popular. Therefore, they're going to put more effort into that because they know it'll sell more.
I guess.
True.
Didn't stop me from noticing it.
Am I the only one who thinks that if they were going to do an HD port or remake of the game, they should have done it what they cock teased at, was it like one of the E3s or something, or maybe it was before an E3. They cock teased something and it was an April Fool's joke by Nintendo. Well, not really an April Fool's joke, but it was more they were using it to show off the power of the Wii or something, where they actually took like a scene from Ocarina of Time and actually gave it a full HD makeover, and it's like, holy crap, make that game. And Nintendo was like, nope, troll face. And that pissed off a lot of fans. They're like, no, that's the game we want, Nintendo. What, you don't want our money? It's like, if you're going to do an HD remake, do it like that. Don't just...
I would love to have this on like the Wii U or something. That would be like that would be really cool. But like
well, they could still do an HD 3D remake of it and put it on the 3DS. Just make it an actual full-on remake. Completely redo all the graphics with current gen graphics.
That would
I
take
think it'd
way
be
too long
amazing.
and too much money for them. I can understand why they
yeah,
wouldn't
that would
do it.
cost way too much and take too much effort. Because even GameCube game of Wind Waker, when they ported that to the Wii U and obviously inherently made it more easy, they essentially had to change all the models and stuff. They mentioned they had to design new ones so it would look good in HD. So now, not only would they have that to worry about, they'd also have to change everything to look good for current systems as well, because the N64 graphics compared to now would look like ass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not like I said. It's not like they look bad or anything. It just when you compare the two. So anyway, that's fine. Whatever. It is what it is. It's not like distracting from the gameplay at all, by any means, any stretch of the imagination. So story-wise, same story. Same thing. Amol mentioned that Zelda is like this is the game she's in the least because she is
That's
nothing.
not at all.
She is in it in a memory. She's there in a memory for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, which, like I said, it can't be The Legend of Zelda if Zelda's not in it. that inherently makes the game, in my eyes, one of the bad parts, is because it's called Legend of Zelda. You bought it for the Legend of Zelda. Now, yes, I am aware that Link's not Zelda. Link is the main character, and it's all about that. But still, Zelda is at least a driving force behind a lot of stuff, or at least she felt throughout all of it, or she's a plot device that needs rescuing. In this one, she's just there for like a memory scene, and then that's it. And it's like
a very
no
grayed out
Zelda.
memory scene where you could have easily missed her and seen it was not her because it was so whited out, but the only reason you didn't know it was her is because of the Zelda's Lullaby, which if you're playing with a 3DS, you could have muted because you're in a public area or something, which I have done. Also, another very interesting...
Headphones!
Yeah. Well, I could have gotten headphones, but I was lazy. It's so much easier to slide out the stairs than dig through my purse for my headphones. Anyway, another interesting point that was brought to my attention, or I brought to Mole's attention and mine, is that in the beginning when I started this game, it says that young Link left Hyrule for a personal quest to search for someone lost.
Yes.
I have no idea who that is or even why, and I've beaten the game and played it like 3 times and I completely forgot.
I think with that, Pew, I did have a theory with that. You see him on the horse riding through the forest of fairies, whatever the hell it's called. Could he be looking for Navi because it's straight after Ocarina of Time, and once he put the Master Sword in, Navi was like, "Fuck you, bitch," and just takes the hell off?
Well, the thing is, if you look at the point in time that he goes back in time, it's technically before he even gets Navi, because it's before he meets Princess Zelda, which was right after he meet Navi. But because he basically stopped everything from happening, like Navi was unnecessary, so Navi never became his partner, so he went off to go look for her. That's the prevailing fan theory that he's looking for Navi.
So how can he go look for her if he never met her? I mean, how does he even know that she exists to go look for her?
Because he's the hero of time. He's displaced in time. She doesn't know about him, but he knows about her.
Yeah, I was thinking he'd probably still keep his memories and stuff, but I was just thinking that because I remember in Ocarina of Time, after everything, and you put the Master Sword away inside the stone type thing, Navi basically turns around and says, "Fuck off," and leaves.
Yeah, and Link does. It is basically.
He's like, "Oh, does that, if you want me to stay, say something." "What's that? You can't speak, you mute fuck. Bye."
And it's basically established in the game that Link does retain his memories, because that's the whole reason why the child era of Link ends the way it does, where he goes to meet Zelda, and it's basically like, yeah, Ganondorf's a fucking tool, execute his ass. And they're like, okay. And so they go to execute him, and that's why you get Twilight Princess. Okay. So in that version of Kid Link time, or Young Link time, the King of Hyrule is not a douche and actually listens to the kids, which is why Ganondorf does not get his way, but ends up getting the Triforce of Power anyway.
Alright. Now that's settled.
Execute him?
What's that, Mo?
How? If he executed him, logically, he should stay dead.
Well, they tried to execute him, and then the Triforce of Power stopped it, and he ended up killing one of the 7 sages, and so they just banished him. Which is why if you look at Twilight Princess, the sword that Ganondorf uses is the sword they tried to execute him with. It's actually one of the sword of the 7 sages.
That's convoluted as hell.
You're telling me. So anyway, now that we understand, now that we understand the story, this is getting Kingdom Hearts levels of.
We understand the intro.
Okay, now we understand the intro.
The moon has a face and is about to crash into the earth because gravity, and that's how the moon works.
Okay, basically, Skull Kid steals a mask from a masked dude, and you have to get it back in 3 days, or the moon's gonna fall in your face and kill everybody. So.
That was something interesting, where the shopkeeper from Ocarina of Time is suddenly wants his mask back, so he actually has a point in this one. Like they fleshed out a character from the previous game. That was kind of cool. But still, the whole moon's gonna fall in 3 days. I mean, the moon's just going, and the moon doesn't even look less scared about crashing into the earth. It looks like he wants that.
He looks like he's fucking happy. And how all the townspeople kind of accept that the moon has a face. did the moon have a face last year? I don't remember it looking as scary this year
Yeah.
or last year or something like that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
really?
It's
You're
like none of
just
that.
okay with this?
It's like none of that makes sense because if the moon ever got into our orbit to the point where it would be gravitationally pulled towards the Earth, it would take a lot less than 3 days to hit the floor.
Yeah, and plus it would affect the tides and shit, and we'd already be flooded and destroyed by other things by that point.
I know someone's probably going to say it's magic, but fuck that rule. That rule's shit.
I don't think it's magic. I think it's like dark, evil shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, from what I understand, Termina is supposed to be an alternate reality to Hyrule. So, like, when Link went through the forest after Navi, he kind of went through, like, an alternate reality portal or some shit. So that Happy Mask salesman may not even be the same one from Hyrule Castletown.
They have the same face, so let him know he has got a brother.
They do.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's the alternate reality version of him. Kind of like Mirror Universe in Star Trek.
Did they still actually keep the scene now where as the moon's coming down, Link just looks up and sings about being caught between the moon and New York City?
That would be funny.
But yeah, I just finished rereading the Hyrule Historia, and that's what they said in there, that Terminus technically is basically supposed to be an alternate reality version of Hyrule. I'm like, okay, that explains a lot. Like, why there's no Princess Zelda, because she doesn't exist in this reality.
But I thought alternate parallel universe version of Hyrule was Lowrule.
Ha ha ha.
Different time period. Or different...
It would still be the same universe. It'd still be an alternate universe. Why would it change its name? That makes no sense. You can't have multiple different shadow versions of yourself.
It's a different alternate universe. Crisis of Infinite Hyrules.
It's an alternate universe.
That just seems like, fuck it, we had an idea to do this, and we came up with a cool name of Lowrule, let's do it.
Anyway, so basically in Majora's Mask, your masks are basically like items you can use. Like, you get like a shit ton of items, though, except you use masks. And they can do everything from like make you march in line so you can get another mask that's way more useful than the mask you currently have, to, hey, I'm proving my citizenship, or I'm using this mask to ask about things because I don't have a voice and can't ask, but if I wear this mask, then it kind of sort of conveys my point anyway.
He has a voice. Right after he goes through and that spell hits him, he clearly stands up and goes, "Whoa, I'm totally carrying wood right now. Where's Zelda? Waka waka." To which the fairy goes, "Really? That's the voice you've chose? All this time you've been silent and that's the voice?" And Link's like, "Oh," and never speaks again.
Yes, that'd be amazing if that actually happened. But yeah, because he doesn't speak, he has a lot of masks that convey an idea or whatever he's trying to tell people, like the what is his name? Conroy, the blue-haired missing child, Kafki or something like that. Kaffy, whatever, of him, the missing child. You can't ask people around there and interrogate them, so you just wear a mask of him to make people wonder, oh, I wonder where that kid is gone.
Isn't Conroy called Optimus Prime in the American version?
Wait, what? I don't know anything about Transformers, so I don't... Yeah.
Thank you. The other joke would have been, but Pew, we all wear masks, metaphorically speaking.
Yeah. Now, only 3 of these masks are actually significant. We have the Goron one, who turns into a Goron and get Goron powers. The Deku one, which you start off with, you get Deku powers, which is my favorite because it's the cutest, because it's all chibi. And then Zora one, which probably looks the most badass. Power with Zora, obviously.
The Zora one gives us the best new mechanic in any Zelda game ever, which I'm disappointed that they never use again.
What?
The fact that you can actually swim and not look stupid, because as a Zora, you swim like a fish, so it's got like the best swimming mechanics of any Zelda game, in my opinion. I'm like, I want those swimming mechanics.
I would say the best swimming mechanics in any Legend of Zelda game would have to be Wind Waker, because he's more intelligent, so he just builds a raft.
Boom! Anyway. So, now I'm going to go on to the changes of Majora's Mask. The first one being the first one that I noticed, you fucking moved the rupee bank stand out of the west side of Clock Town, and you moved it to the center. You assholes! You cost me 62 rubies. I mean, I can understand why you did it because South Clocktown is basically the central hub for all the other ones that connect, the north, south, and east. But and it's way easier convenient to get to, especially when you teleport straight there. Right next to it's the bank. But that third day when I had to do it, I couldn't find it, and you made me waste 62 rupees.
Why would they change the layout like that? That doesn't make sense to me, but okay.
Well,
It sounds like they changed the layout for more convenience.
Yeah, it's more convenience. It's right there when you teleport. It's in the center of the town, the center of Clocktown. I can understand it, but if you didn't know that and you specifically knew where it was and you know it's moved, you might not be able to find it. Because I walked up and down frickin' West Clocktown looking for that shit and I could not find it for the life of me. And then I went back in time, wasted my 62 rupees. So that's the first of changes.
Mm-hmm.
I think another change is with the stone mask. You might have to get it at a different location or something.
Oh.
Like that, yeah. I don't exactly remember what it. I think you get it like later in the game or something, as opposed to earlier.
Oh, there's no way they took out the ability to cheese it and get it all extra early?
Yeah.
Aw, that's bad. I like that there was a kind of a cheap but kind of hidden way to cheese it and get it early.
Yeah, because I got everything almost like after I beat the whole game.
Ah. Fair enough.
Yeah. And another interesting but useful feature in here is how everything's mapped out for all your days. It's really laid out for you in your notebook. So before, I'd feel like it wasn't as laid out as easy, like on a straight friggin' schedule, because you can really see like it'll tell you, boom, 1, 2, and 3, and stuff happens at these times. So I think that's more convenient for you.
Fair enough.
Another thing I noticed that is time goes faster, even when you do it slower.
Really?
And I know this for a fact because I had to do the water temple twice because I did it and I had to unslow, but it took me the whole 3 days to actually get through the temple the first time because I refused to look through a walkthrough because I wanted to figure it out myself.
They made it faster. I don't know if I like that.
They made it faster, so now it goes, I think, I want to say twice as fast, but let's say 1.5 as fast. Because even when you have the slow mode, it moves how time would normally move, and then time goes slightly faster in regular time. So that kind of annoyed me, because I had to do shit twice.
Yeah, see,
that sounds pretty cool if it made it harder. It sounds like the opposite of what they did with Wind Waker. Because I loved GameCube Wind Waker, I hate the Wii U one.
They did make it harder, but it also can mess you up sometimes, like, when you're obviously trying to do things on a deadline, because some events, like,
will only happen at certain times in the day, and if it goes too fast, you just won't have enough time to get to it.
Yeah, like, you have to, when you have to get your, like, maximum sword, you have to beat the temple, make it not winter, and that has to be done on the first day, and then get the sword, make your sword, the sharper one, and then go to day 2, and then use the sawdust. Okay, you done that. Go to day 3, and that's when you can get your real sword, and finally have it done. So you have to use all 3 days to do that. So if you don't finish the temple in the first day, you have to go back and do it again.
Yeah, there's so many things in that game that are so time sensitive that making it faster just doesn't make it necessarily harder. It makes it more annoying. And it's the fact of the matter is, original Majora's Mask was hard enough as it was. Now I can understand if they have kind of like how in Ocarina of Time 3D they do have a Master Quest associated with it. After you beat the game, you can do Master Quest. Yeah. I'd be perfectly fine with that if you beat Majora's Mask and you have Majora's Mask Master Quest and then make it faster. Fair enough. That's perfectly viable. But for the standard Majora's Mask, I'm like, and especially, I don't know. For the regular one, I just don't think the standard version of the game should be any harder than the original. If the original was hard enough as it was.
Also,
See,
the
I
longest.
was of the opinion it does make it a little harder, which is better because I found Majora's Mask to be so fucking easy compared to Ocarina of Time that it's like, okay. So if they've made it harder, like you mentioned, they cut out the part where you can exploit it and get something at you quicker.
The
They
Stone
also,
Mask, yeah.
they also shortened down the days or made it speed up, I should say. It's like that sounds like they've made it a little bit more challenging, which that's always a good thing.
They have made one particular mission a lot easier because in the N64 one, I couldn't do this until my 50th try or whatever, or like a whole lot of tries. Is that when you because it is faster, when you do try to get the not pig head, cow head mask that prove your citizenship so you can stay in the bar like after hours or whatever.
Yeah.
To get that, you need to shoot all the aliens so they don't abduct Malin or whatever. And because time moves faster, you only have to defend the barn a less amount of time because they're faster. But the whole point of slowing down time is because when you slow down time, the enemies move slower. So I did that, but they're still going as slow as they would when they're slowing down time, but time is actually still moving faster because the slowing down thing doesn't go as slow as it used to. But the enemies move as slow as they're supposed to. So that makes it a lot easier. Because I did that in one shot. I'm like, really? Because you know what I did? I said, fuck it, I'm not going to even use the horse. I'll walk right up to you with the bunny hood and kill you. And that's it. I just pretty much killed them on respawn, and I just kept doing that like maybe 6 times, and I was done. And I'm like, wow, that was way too easy. I would have kicked my ass as a kid, and been like, haha, you suck, you couldn't get it. I did it my first try. And then I'd be depressed forever, and I'd wonder why, and I'd kick my future self.
Again,
something like that I could being easier because it's faster. That totally makes sense.
Yep.
Let's see other changes. With the change with the Zora form, you can. They mentioned this that when you had the awesome swimming mechanic, how you could just swim and do your little dives and everything, that has totally changed. So goodbye to your swimming mechanic, Jeff. So. Basically, you can only do that if you have magic, and when you do that, you have this whole you know how Nehru's love had this force field around you. It's kind of like that, except slightly faster, and it kills everything around you.
So if you want to actually be able to swim, you have to have magic. That's kind of bullshit.
If you want to swim fast, yes. If you don't want to do your blub 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 blub, then yes. You have to have magic, and you have to. It's harder to aim because you're going faster. And it kills everything around you. I don't really use it unless I'm trying to swim really fast in one direction.
That sounds like the attack that he had in the first one, where he spins around, and creates that aura, and
Yeah, but it just keeps going, and just use up all your magic if you want to swim fast. If you don't want to do the blub 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 blub.
Can you still do the acrobatic stuff, or do you have to be in that mode to do the acrobatic stuff, like the jumping out of the water?
That's how you do the acrobatics.
Oh, that's stupid.
And you need that to break shit. Because I ran out of magic, I had to go back to what do you call the building with the hook on it, the Great Bay Coast. I had to go there and smash some bottles and get magic, and then go back in the water and go back to the pirates' place and destroy the boards.
That is incredibly stupid. Nice. Now that is retarded because
it makes it more challenging, I guess, because I did use it sparingly.
But if you which is fine. But if you think about it, they're making the time go faster, and then now they're taking an ability that you have to use and making it in such a way that it's going to cost you time that you don't have. I'm like, really?
I feel I like it, but I also don't like it. It's a double-edged sword, which they did explain in an interview, but I don't know. I like it 50%. I can understand it, and I like it sometimes, and I feel like they leveled it out more, but by giving it more power, they also took it away a little bit by using it less frequently.
Yeah, if it was just, for speed and breaking stuff, fair enough. But the fact that they basically took away the usage of the Zora mask, the reason you use it in the first place, makes almost the Zora mask useless. Because the whole reason you use the Zora mask, you want to use that when you're swimming, is because of the acrobatics you can do. The fact that you can avoid shit, and especially in that boss fight. Oh god, that boss fight's fucking annoying. But
Yeah, you can
you
pretty
know,
much. What I use the Zora Mask for is just to sink down and walk. That's pretty much what I use it for if I'm not like swimming, and that's generally how I got around. And then like if I had magic to spare, I would do that, which I would never fucking be able to do if I didn't double magic myself in the very beginning, because I never got the fairies in when the first times I played it, and the only fairy I got was the double magic in the first one, and I don't even remember what the other two got, because that's the only one I bothered to get is the first fairies, and they still look like fucking shit, man. I mean the fairies always look like shit.
Yeah.
Like they are like these big old friggin' ugly like ok things with these friggin' duck face lips, and you just put on this stupid hat to get them when they come over to you, and it's like all these duck face fairies, and it's like, oh my god. I mean they're always duck face fairies, so we just didn't have a word for them then until now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
duck face.
That's what they are. The lips like.
I don't know. It just seems like they made it in such a way so that you have to go faster than you normally would in Majora's Mask, and then they penalize you for going faster, because that acrobatic thing I was talking about, where you jump out of the water as a Zora, that's a well-known and documented speedrunning tactic, or just to save time tactic if you're annoyed, and to be able to jump, because you can jump pretty high if you angle yourself properly and jump out of the water and then land on land. And I've seen like Let's Players, and I've read things where people use that a lot for time saving and stuff. Now you're putting us in a position where we have to find ways to save time because time is moving so much faster. And then our one chief way of actually saving time, you're penalizing us for using it because it's just like, nope, it's tied to your magic now. I'm like, really?
I'm okay with that because I hate speed.
That's because the original one was more for your speed runs and the easy playthroughs and stuff. This one seems more to just play the game to play it properly and have fun and stuff, which
I'm okay with that.
Which they seem to have made it so it's got more replay value and be a little bit more challenging. That's a positive in my eyes.
More replay value?
What was that?
I said, what do you mean more replay value?
Well, if it's going to take you longer to play through the game, you're going to be playing it longer, and when you actually go to replay through the game later on to see different fairies or different types of stuff, it's going to take you longer to play through it.
Get extra stuff this time, because a lot of the times like I don't fucking bother collecting anything, and sometimes I'll make more of an extra collect this time rather than last time.
Yeah, that's what I do. That's what I thought most Legend of Zelda players did. But you normally play through it a second time to see what you can get and see if you can do it differently and so forth. And because of how the time system works, it's going to take you longer. Therefore, you're replaying it more.
I'll also say they also changed, not modded, but they changed the way what do you call it? Goron's rolling works. Before, when you were a Goron, you just straight out Goron, you're done. You just roll until you like fuck up and you stop. Now what they have is that you stay in Goron roll mode regardless. Like once you enter that Goron roll mode, you're locked. You can go. You can slow down. You can stop. But you're still in the ball mode. So like something I really like is that like you can just like pause and see your little Goron face all squished up. And in a ball. He looks so cute. Bigger cheeks and his arms are tucked in and his legs are up. It's like adorable. Who's a little cute little boy, Goron boy? You are. But like also this allows for a lot of extra control, I feel like, because if I'm going too fast or I can change directions, I can do it a lot better, which I felt was really difficult in the GameCube, Nintendo 64, PC, and Wii one.
Now,
which are all basically versions of the same thing.
Into the Goron mode, I assume you press the button to get out of it.
Yeah, when I say locked, I mean you have to press one specific button to get out of it. Because in the first one, you just have to hold it down and then you have to keep going. Here you don't have to hold it down, you just press that one button and then you're in it until you decide you don't want to be in it anymore.
I can see that making a lot of the Goron parts easier and not as.
They are. It's a lot more manageable, so I really like that. Because in the final area, you have like the hardest thing in the game, in my opinion, is where you have to bounce off of like all this shit, like at least
Yeah.
5 or 6 different things, and you're like, fuck it, you just want to throw the controller away. And for like me, you rage quit like 6 times and went back to it after like 6 months, and then you said rage quit again and come back to it another 6 months, and it takes you like 2 years to finish like one part of the game because you just fucking can't deal with it. And that's what I did with the first like 64 one, and eventually I beat it, and I was like, "Ha! Beat you, motherfucker! Take that, you stupid Japs!" And I'd be like the whole racist person. I'm sorry, it's nothing against you. It's just me being a horrible, evil child who was really angry at this one game. So, but yeah, so they fixed.
The X-Bound do not condone the racial comments of Anastasia Lazerbeam.
Exactly. Neither do I, because I was like.
We
like,
do,
what,
however, sell them on a T-shirt.
I was like I don't know, like 10 at the time. Okay, so like, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
I don't actually.
If you're playing a game, there's no need to rage quit or scream out racial slurs.
Yeah, there isn't at all, especially not if there's people listening or anything. But I was really, really angry, and I said all those things in anger, not actually meaning them intentionally. And I am totally okay with Japanese people. So, anyway, moving on with that disclaimer. So yeah, I am all around. I feel like okay, you can get like the way I think this might have been the same, but like, the way you get money in this game is you just put it in the bank, and they're literally like you get a stamp like on your hand or whatever that says how many rupees you put in the bank. So like, because at the end of the days, and you rewind it back, all your rupees are gone, and it says you have a stamp for that many rupees. Oh, I better guess I give you the rupees now, even though they technically aren't in your bank. I better take somebody else's rupees and give them to you because we honor our system, and you technically have a stamp that says it. So
And that's what led to the Hyrule economic crisis of 2008.
Yeah, that was in the original one where you get the bank stamp. It indicates that you are a customer of the bank, so therefore they would give you your money.
And of course, at the end of the game, you get your 4 giants after you beat everything, and stop the moon from falling, sell all your mass backs to the Moonchild kids, and
Fierce deity Link.
Yeah, Fierce of Deity Link.
Is he still as awesome and cheap as he was in the original?
Yeah, he's still as awesome.
Which also means they've remastered Ocarina of Time. They remastered Majora's Mask. They already remastered Wind Waker. Twilight Princess was technically remastered when they flipped it for the Wii. Does that mean coming soon we might get a remastered version of the Four Swords?
I was gonna say Skyward Sword.
Four Swords was first.
Oh, fuck that. It's Skyward Sword. I want that more.
I'd rather have
Sorry
the
if you love Four Swords.
I'd rather
but
have
I like Skyward Sword
than the game that's just parkour and pushed off cliffs.
Yeah, also
really horrible characters.
Get past
really
that. I
Also,
love that you couldn't get past that.
Also, why would Skyward Sword need a remaster? It's already in HD.
No, it's not. It was on
I know,
Wii.
but
The Wii's not HD.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It
But
was
it doesn't
still
need remaster. It's
beautiful
HD
looking.
enough. I think they
It
should get a
was
remaster
still-
of the original Legend of Zelda.
And I'm going to say we here on the gaming channels do not condone saying consoles are HD when they are not. Thank you.
We do not condone lies.
Well, my point still stands. It doesn't need a remastering. It's good enough.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, I just
That
thought the
was-
Four Swords would lend itself well, especially with 3DSs hooking up to the Wii U, and with everyone having their own separate screen with the gamepad, and then 3 other people having those. Plus, they want to push multiplayer. They want to push Zelda. I think the Four Swords could be awesome if they find a way to either remaster it or to do a game within the same vein.
Mm.
Because I think the Four Swords gets overlooked too much.
Four Swords is awesome. One game I'd actually like to see completely redone with current gen stuff is Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. because I feel that game is highly underrated. I'll admit I wasn't a huge fan of that game, but I was a huge fan of the RPG elements and stuff, which is a lot of what you see now. With Zelda, a lot of, with like the getting the skills and the magic and stuff, not so much the leveling system, but getting, the skills going through the dungeons and stuff. And I feel that that game would translate very well into a current gen, last gen or current gen Legend of Zelda game. And I think it'd be awesome to see remastered.
Yeah, I'd love to see any of the 2Ds remastered. I'd love to see the Four Swords remastered one with the actual splitting into the 3DSs. And I want an adult version of Wind Waker, goddammit. I don't want the shitty casual version we got for the Wii U.
There you go. So, how was your guys' playing experience on, for Jeff, I get the GameCube? Or the N64, depending on which one you played it on.
How was your guys' experience playing Jeff on the GameCube? Well, when I played Jeff on the GameCube, I found his graphics to be quite odd.
Fuck you.
Completely disproportionate.
Oh, I forget which one of you said you played it on the GameCube, unless it was both of you.
We both did. Ironically enough, the GameCube version was only available on a compilation disc that had the Legend of Zelda, the Adventure of Link, Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask. And I think it was like a promotional disc or something. And interestingly enough, I found it in a store, which I'm like, wait, why is there a promotional disc being sold in a store? Fuck it, I don't care, I'm buying it.
Does it sound any different from the one we're talking about here at 3D?
No, it's basically all it is it's the N64 version remapped for a GameCube controller, and maybe with slightly better graphics, but it is just a straight up N64 version.
Yeah, it was a straight up port.
Just with different controls.
That compilation disc, I bought that off eBay. Back when I had the freeloader for the GameCube, so I could play legal foreign copies of games like Import Ultimate Muscle, or that Japanese one I turned you onto that was like Smash Brothers and stuff like that, which I thought, well, okay, I imported that game, I played it, I'm like, I really like this, because I hadn't played Majora's Mask due to how it was advertised and stuff like that at the time, because I got confused on whether or not it was actually a HDD game or not, because that was at the time when I wasn't really paying as much attention to stuff as I do now. Like, I still looked at game magazines and I still enjoyed games, but I was never into the series so much that every little bit of tidbits that came out I had to read.
Right.
Did you find the controls just as easy?
Yeah, I found the game to be easy as hell. I found Majora's Mask on GameCube, and I played it on the Wii on the Virtual Console. I found going from Ocarina of Time to playing Majora's Mask to be like going from Street Fighter 2 to playing Smash Brothers.
Easier.
A lot easier. And I didn't like that. I did not like Majora's Mask. To me, it was like a lot easier version of Ocarina of Time. It was like a casual version of Ocarina of Time with no Zelda, so it's like, well, okay, what the hell's going on here?
Well, this doesn't bring the Zelda, but it's definitely less casual.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't like Legends of Zelda without Zelda, you're going to hate Link's Awakening on the Game Boy.
Most likely.
That game has literally no Zelda. It's all about Link in a dream world. And ironically, it's one of the most popular Zelda games ever made. There's a lot of people like that game. I personally didn't like it that much. It plays fine, but it plays like a Zelda game. But I was like, eh.
I hate that fucking talking hat. That's the one thing I couldn't stand.
Maybe, because I say playing a game called Legend of Zelda with no Zelda in it would be like playing Mario is Missing. It's got Mario in the title.
Yeah, Majora's Mask, I don't know, I still prefer Ocarina of Time. I like some of the improvements they made in it, because like some of the playing mechanics I felt were a little bit better in that, like in terms of the combat. I felt they made a little bit of improvements. Some of the animations were a little bit better, and I know part of that is because they made Link a little bit older. But I'm sitting here thinking, oh, I wish he'd had like some of those flips and stuff that he did, which made combat a little more fluid, in my opinion. That should have been an Ocarina of Time. like I said, the swimming mechanic with the Zora and stuff. I'm like, finally, a game where I can actually swim and not feel hampered. But on the
One
whole,
thing I
like I
did
said,
like here
right?
is that I like to be able to switch from like where you go from whatever mask you're doing until not mask and then bunny hood, because that's just a way to speed things up, because I can click the bunny hood at any time and just speed up. That is like one of the other benefits of this one.
Yeah, there was a bunny hood in Ocarina of Time, but yeah.
Yeah, but this one actually made you go faster.
True. But yeah, no, like I said earlier, I wasn't a huge fan of Majora's Mask, like Mole, because of how it was advertised, for different reasons. But still, the whole advertisement thing of I thought it functioned one way and it actually didn't. So because I thought it functioned that way, I was like, yeah, I'm not really into that kind of game because the fuck having to be perfect the entire time. It's like, no, you don't. Oh, okay. But when I actually played it, like I said, it played pretty well. I did enjoy it. Like I said, I thought Ocarina of Time was better. On all accounts, like better story and like
I agree with that.
I get that Link is a little bit older, but still he should he should not have been allowed to ride Epona because it was established in Ocarina of Time that young Link, kid Link, cannot ride Epona.
Well, Epona, and I say Epona, but that's cool. She was equally as young.
Yeah, but I mean, when you go to Lon Lon Ranch, fucking Melon outright says she's not strong enough to be ridden on yet. You have to come back in like 7 years or whatever, so that she's actually strong enough to carry a human being, which is like fair enough. Which is why you can't ride her when you're a kid. And all of a sudden, like I guess Link is supposed to be a year or two older at this point. It's like all of a sudden, like a year later, all of a sudden she's strong enough to be ridden on. No, it doesn't work
She
that
drank
way.
the green potion. She got magic, or maybe she drank a red potion or blue one.
Wait, I will say, yeah, Ocarina of Time to me felt as and still to this day feels like the most 3D version of the original Legend of Zeldas.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. I love
This is
Ocarina
kind
of
of
Time.
like its weird, fucked up, drunk cousin. I think that's an accurate one. Like, you have like too much to drink and you're playing some games and then you have some snacks and you go to bed. You're not supposed to go to bed right after you eat all that weird shit because then you're gonna have a weird dream, and this game is
Yeah,
that weird dream.
yeah, which I'm sure a lot of people have explained it, have said this before, but in my opinion, fuck it, this whole game is only in Link's subconscious, because once he falls off that cliff, in this game it then goes to Wonderland when you start suddenly see all the colours and shit, and then he wakes up and he's like a puppet. Fuck it, no, he hit his head, he's in a coma, and this is his life fading away. He died.
It's possible.
Pokemon theory it.
He died with dignity instead of having to go through this.
Yeah, and also I kind of just imagine like a bunch of people at Nintendo go, we save so much money by making the player go over and do the same thing over and over again.
Are you sure you're not racist? You're doing a lot of racist stuff.
I'm sorry. That's just
Also,
kind of how I imagine.
yeah, which is also slightly racist, because before when you mentioned, yeah, and I'm not actually racist, I will apologise to you, to Marcus. He's not Japanese, he's Chinese.
I wasn't trying to do anything against Marcus.
Yeah,
No,
and if you know
it's
anything
being
about
funny
your
for him.
history, if you know anything about your history, because I'm Chinese, I don't care if you're being racist to Japanese, because we don't like the Japanese either.
Well, all I'm saying is I think they're kind of
you-
laughing at us because they're exploiting us by giving us the same footage over and over again, but it makes sense because that's how the story works because of the 3-day thing, so they have an excuse to keep using the same footage, and it doesn't matter, and we can't argue about it.
Yeah, and I said it, and yeah, Marcus is right. If you ever read your history, Pew, you'd know that the Chinese people don't really care if you make racist comments. You shouldn't, but they don't really care, because only human beings have the capacity to care.
Oh.
So yeah, don't be racist.
Oh.
Again, I'm not actually being racist, and that's wrong.
No, my joke there was I was being extremely racist while telling you not to be racist.
I got it. All right, so I guess that brings us to like the final comments and wrap up.
I guess to you since you're the one who's actually played the game.
Okay, I played this one. I played like all the versions of it, and I I still like I like the controls best on the 3DS one, even though like some of them may be more favored and more challenging. Although I don't particularly like a lot of the changes they made. Control wise, it's the best.
Oh, that sounds like they did a good job with it then. Because this might just be me, I don't know. But when I played the Ocarina of Time remake on the 3DS, because someone had that and let me play it, I didn't like the controls because I'm like, it feels odd without an N64 controller in my hand doing it. It feels like it was made for the N64. This one was made for the N64 and slightly tweaked to do the 3DS controls, and I didn't like that. It felt off.
This one feels really natural swapping between buttons, and it's really convenient because I organized my masks the way I want. Because I put like the 3 main ones on the side and all the other ones to the one side, so that way like I knew. I don't know. I like being able to organize my shit so I can get it exactly where I want it in quick, easy access. So
I do have to say, for my money, my favorite Legend of Zelda gameplay of all time to this day, and includes the new stuff that's come out that I've played, is Wind Waker. It's got by far the best gameplay in my opinion.
I like Wind Waker, I really do. But like I said, I like the GameCube Wind Waker.
Yep. That's fair enough. Graphically, I think this is a step back, which is odd. But like I didn't expect them to do anything, but I just expect them to match what the Ocarina of Time 3D was, and it didn't. Again, 3D turned off. Like unless you have like super good eyes, and it's not gonna hurt your eyes, which it probably will. And once you get past like all the little changes, moving stuff around, like kind of preventing you from doing stuff too early, it's probably a good, slightly more challenging game. So if you liked the original, you're probably gonna like this one. If you didn't like the original, you probably won't like this one. It's not gonna pick up any new fans probably, but it will probably satisfy the old ones, maybe even a little more, maybe. And yeah, that's pretty much in a nutshell.
I gotta ask you one question for you. Graphically speaking, because this annoyed the crap out of me with Ocarina of Time 3D. Is one of the reasons I don't like it, but I do want Ocarina of Time 3D. And that is when I saw the comparison photos of, GameCube / N64 version versus the 3D version, the HD remake, I noticed they lightened the color palette. And I was wondering if they did that with Majora's Mask, because I did not like that with Ocarina of Time, because I'm like, no, Ocarina of Time is supposed to be a dark story, and now you're making it all sunshines and rainbows. I don't like that.
I do not think it's sunshines and rainbows here. There's a lot of dark, there's a lot of black, but this game is like really fucking dark. There's like his eyes go black every time he puts on the mask. The moon is put into this game, as colorful as it is, uses a lot of gray palettes, so I personally didn't notice any of them because there is so much dark colors in here.
I think maybe with the Ocarina of Time one, the reason they may have done that is because, like when they were doing the Wind Waker one, they mentioned certain colors have to be lightened or darkened depending on the color because it was made for SD. And technically, with the 3DS being 3D capable, or at least it's meant to be 3D or look 3D, I can see them adjusting the colors, like making it lighter so you could see it more on the tiny screen, but also tweaking the colors so it'd look better for that particular definition.
Yeah.
Like, in this one, I didn't notice any particular extra lightness because there's a lot of dark rooms, there's a lot of black, there's a lot of weird dream scenes.
Here's a question for you. I have a question for you. This is a pretty recent release. Like it came out this week or last week or so?
Yeah, I think it came out 2 weeks ago.
What happens when you put your amiibo on it?
Oh, I didn't do that. But I have the Toon Link amiibo, but I heard that it is compatible with the actual Link amiibo. It does not work with the Toon Link amiibo.
Ah, that kind of sucks, because I was wondering what compatibility there was, what does that do, how does it function, what bonuses there were.
No,
that's fine. Well, that's fine, we can look it up after the recording.
Yeah. But, so, that is Majora's Mask, and I was Anastasia Lazerbeam, and joining me was Chriz, aka the Mole.
Thank you.
And Marcus Shadow.
Thank you very much.
And thank you guys so much. Yay!
Bye.
See you next time.